These are 3 ways that unhealed trauma distorts your mind and your perspective. Whenever you're carrying around a certain amount of unhealed trauma or not facing yourself in a certain type of way, it actually hinders you from reaching a certain amount of understanding inside of yourself, because there are certain truths that you know, even if not consciously, that you're not accepting. This automatically is going to distort whatever information that you're able to receive or whatever you're perceiving in your life, because you're not even being honest with yourself. So you're never going to have clarity inside of yourself. Number 2, it's going to be very, very hard for you to show up in the most authentic way and most authentic version of yourself if you're still holding on to old perspective and old mindsets that are attached to a very unauthentic version of yourself, and constantly projecting that through your mind and manifesting that in your life. A lot of people have psychic abilities that they're not in full control of or in unawareness of, because they have not healed a certain amount of trauma inside of themselves, so that information can actually come through clearly. They don't have that self-trust, they don't have that confidence, and they don't have that understanding of their own consciousness to even differentiate between those different energies, those different fields that they're tapping into. On top of the fact that a lot of people have psychic abilities, but because it's not seen as normal, they dismiss it as like them just making some shit up, to be honest. Number 3, when you carry around a certain amount of unhealed emotional energy, mental energy, whatever it is, it keeps your vibration in a state to where you're going to constantly end up in karmic cycles that trauma is attached to, and there is almost no way for you to move past that until you actually synthesize and integrate that information and transmute it into a higher version of yourself. A lot of older people might seem like they've been the same way for 10 or 20 years because mentally they're still stuck in that place to where that trauma first happened to them, and they've never been able to fully integrate or synthesize that information and actually manifest a higher version of themselves so that they wouldn't have to deal with that shit anymore. That is an example of what happens when you do not heal yourself and you end up living out the same karmic cycles for 10, 20, 30 years because you did not take the time to heal for 6 months. If you would like to speak to me, I do spiritual readings. You can book a call with me with the link inside of my bio.